In today's video, we're talking about my updated Premier League predictions, 25-26 season come the end of the season. This will be the last promise I do of the season. I did say, though, I'll do one when the transfer window's closed, because since I've done the last ones a few weeks ago, several transfers have been made. We've had 3 games and an international break to kind of dissect, so this will be the last one. If you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, I'll share you my screen. So here we go. How it's going to work then is I'm going to put them all into categories. Some of them are individual positions, such as you've got their champions or Europa Conference League, say just 7th. But anyone else, I'm going to put in categories. Then come the end of the video, I'm going to sort out whereabouts I think. So, for example, the lower mid-table category of 13th to 17th, there's a lot. And if I just put a club there, doesn't mean I think they're going to be 13th or 14th. I'll explain as we go along. So we'll kick it off with Bournemouth. By the way, I hope you guys are all well. Please do get involved in this in the comments below. Bournemouth I really rate. Really, really rate. I think I'm already going to say high mid-table, very good side, and I think I'm going to cope really well with that change because of the manager they've got in Iriola. I think they've shown really positive signs, beat my side Tottenham and completely outplayed us, if I'm totally honest with you. Arsenal, this is where a prediction of mine massively has changed. I'm now going in that Champions League group. I still think they're going to have a good season. Whether that's enough for Arteta or whether it's good enough for Arsenal, I don't think so, but it's a question to be asked. I did say that Arsenal will be champions the last time I've done this. It hurts me to say and pay me to say at the time as a Tottenham fan. I'm glad to say that. Why? You may ask, Harry, what's changed? Well, I will say that since Alexander Isak has joined Liverpool and Liverpool beaten Arsenal, they're the 2 main things that have changed. Chelsea, very strong, young squad, but a very big squad and very high quality squad. Could they be punished? Could there be points deductions? Potentially, I'd say unlikely, though. Champions League, though, no doubt for me. Burnley, I think, have shown positive signs under Scott Parker. I think he's learned a lot from his time in the Premier League. Do I be bold here? Oh, this is incredibly difficult. I'm leaning somewhere between like 17th or 18th. They're either just about stay up or not quite stay up. I'm going 17th for Scott Parker's Burnley. I think he'll be successful on his 3rd time now and trying to keep a club up. West Ham, then, I've got to bear in mind I need 3 of these clubs to go down to make it work. That's the problem I will have, which will prove difficult. West Ham, then, will they just about stay up? You would surely think they would have enough, and I think, unfortunately, they will. Lower mid-table, though, I think they will improve. Brentford, part of me thinks they're going to do really well under Keith Andrews. Originally, I did have them in that relegation category, but the more you think about it, you more see them, and they're a competitive team. They're a well-run club. You feel like they're still going to be stable in the Premier League despite all the change they've gone through. This is where their predictions become incredibly difficult. And if you look across now the whole of the rest of the teams, it's very hard, I think anyway, in my honest opinion, to say that 3 of these teams will go down. I find it incredibly difficult to predict that. But I'm going to say Brentford just about 18th, I think, although it's very difficult to say. Aston Villa, I think they're really going to struggle. I think Unai Emery will leave this year, gets to a point where I think, in my opinion anyway, he takes clubs only as far as he can. So that lower mid-table for me should be incredibly disappointing considering some of the business Villa done towards the end of the window, particularly on deadline day. Brighton, I think, a decent side. I think we'll have a good season. High mid-table, I think they'd want a little bit more than that, though. Fulham as well, I think, will be high mid-tables. For now, Fulham is about transforming those good performances into results, because right now they haven't got the points on the board that they should or deserve to have after 3 games. Everton, then, very, very good side. I think they're going to be very competitive this season. This is where it's interesting. I'm going to be quite bold and put them in the Europa League 5th to 6th category. I don't think I'm the only person saying this, but I've been incredibly impressed with what I've seen. And, bringing someone like Jack Grealish on loan is so sensible. We saw West Ham done it with Jesse Lingard. They missed out on Champions League, but was it 2-3 points? I think they missed out in the end. And that was under David Moyes as well. That's why it's relevant. That's why I've linked it. Everton, really good. A lot of good things going on at the club. Great time to be an Everton fan at the moment, an Evertonian. Leeds, then, I think the home games will be absolutely crucial. I think they're going to push all the way to the end, but I think they will unfortunately just go down. By the way, I don't think anyone's going to be... I think my prediction is we go 2 games to go and nobody's gone down. I think it's going to be really, really tight this year. So these 2 clubs, I think, are actually going to have I say decent season. No, it's not a decent season if you go down, but they're going to be competitive. Put it that way. My club, Tottenham, of course, my heart says here, and part of me wants to put us here, but I think realistically, 7th in Thomas Frank's for the season, trying to juggle, be able to compete on all 4 fronts isn't bad. I'm probably leaning on the more pessimistic side. I think, realistically, Tottenham, because of the signings they made, a we can aim for there would be fantastic. But I'm opting on the side of caution with my own club there. Crystal Palace, let's just say they're going to get the 12th spot again, hey? No, I think that Palace are a very decent side, and I think they will be in that higher mid-table spot. And whether I put them in 12th or not, you'll find out at the end. Stay tuned, because these are just categories for now. I've got to be very careful that I don't put too many teams in one category. Sunderland, I think, will stay up. I think they'll do it. I think they look very secure, lower mid-table. Some would even go as far as, say, higher mid-table to that 8th to 12th kind of bracket, because they've signed well, but I think they're never going to gel as much as you'd like to, and it looks good, all their new signings, but realistically it takes a while to come together. I'm quite confident in my choice here, as if it lets me anyway, as Premier League champions, and that is Liverpool. I wasn't sure at the start of the year. I thought, this is Arsenal this year. They've got this big striker, Gyökeres. They still signed well. I'm not saying it's clear that Liverpool win it, but I just think I've already seen, and don't get me wrong, Arsenal contested well in that game, but even at that stage, such a significant result, and Arsenal suffering injury problems as well, kind of is a cherry on top in my kind of thinking and decision. Wow, Man City, it's very, very tough now. I mean, realistically, they're probably going to get Europa. I think they're going to struggle, but it's whether I put them in that Champions League or Europa League bracket that I'm thinking is quite tough to decide here. I think realistically, I think City are going to struggle, but I think they'll still be in the Europa League discussion. Yeah, I think that's absolutely fair. Manchester United, then, I think will be higher mid-table, and improvement on last season. There's no joke about it. Even if they get the highest end, this category 8, that's not good for Ruben Amorim. I think United will be a lot better, be a lot competitive, and I still think he will be the right manager to bring success to Man United. Having said that, just because he's done well at Sporting doesn't mean he's right for the Premier League. But high mid-table for Manchester United, a lot lower than in my original Premier League predictions video, where I think I put them in the Europa League category. Realism's kicked in. Newcastle, then. This is tough. I'm going Champions League. Go on, Newcastle. I'll absolutely back them. I say that because they've been through a lot of the exact situation. I do feel sorry for the fans a little bit. But no, I think that they will push the limits, Newcastle, this year. I think they've signed well. I like Eddie Howe, and it's just about time and patience. I'm going to jump the gun. I'm going to go with Wolves first, because this makes it a lot easier to confirm all 3 teams that have gone down, and then leaves us not enough for us. I'll explain my decision in just a second. So let's make sure I get it right. So yeah, they have to go in that category, don't they? Have lower mid-table, which feels harsh. I think will be very disappointing for Ange Postecoglou. So that is with regret, that I've got in this situation where Forest have to be there. So now let's sort out the individual categories then. So sorted Liverpool champions, Arsenal second, there's no doubt about that. This is where it is difficult. I think Chelsea 3rd, Newcastle 4th. We're going to lock that in. I'm going to swap City and Everton. So I'm going to City 5th, Everton 2nd, Everton 6th. Sorry, I'll do second in that category anyway. I'll do a round up at the end. Yeah, I think Man United 8th. Oh, this is tough. This is very, very tough. I think Brighton won't quite get what they want. So where am I going with this? I think Man United, I think, get 9th. I'm going Fulham 8th, Man United 9th, Crystal Palace 10th, Bournemouth 11th, Brighton 12th. Then I'm going... this is tough, man. Sunderland 13th, Nottingham Forest with a very, very disappointing 14th, Aston Villa in 15th, West Ham United in 16th, Burnley in 17th. Then I'm going Leeds United in 18th, Brentford very harsh in 19th, and Wolves 20th. So let's run you through my final Premier League predictions, and some really bold takes in here. But honestly, this is just how I feel. That's the thing you'll learn with me. I just say how it is. I'm not trying to appeal to anyone, to entertain anyone, none of this clickbait or any of this rubbish. I just say what I think. And, I think differently. And I want things to happen differently. I like to break the trend. This is just how I feel. Liverpool, I think, will win the title. I think Arsenal finish second. Chelsea finished third. Do it again without tripping up. Liverpool champions, Arsenal second, Chelsea third, Newcastle fourth. So those teams in the Champions League, that's Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea and Newcastle in that order for the Champions League. Europa League, I think, will be Manchester City and Everton. Really disappointing season for City. Complete contrast for Everton. What a season if they can secure sixth. Thomas Frank, I think, would be a little bit disappointed with 7th, but as long as it is Europe, I think for Tottenham fans, considering they finished 17th in the Premier League last year. However, a trophy will probably be expected, or latter stages of one if they do finish 7th. Fulham, 8th. Manchester United, 9th. Crystal Palace, 10th. Bournemouth, 11th. Brighton Hove Albion, 12th. Sunderland, bold prediction, 13th. Another bold prediction in the wrong way. Nottingham Forest, 14th. Another as well with Aston Villa in 15th. West Ham United surviving in 16th. Burnley, I think, will survive by a single point in 17th. And Leeds United, the expense of them, in 18th place. Brentford 19th and Wolves 20th. By the way, I think that even Wolves in 20th place, I'm going to predict they only go down by about 4 points. I think it's going to be incredibly tight. I think Brentford will go down by 2. I think Leeds will go down by 1. I think it's going to be so close down the bottom. I think Sunderland and Nottingham Forest, I think Sunderland, Nottingham Forest and Aston Villa in that lower mid-table group will be safe. I think West Ham and Burnley will be very close to that bottom 3. Those are my predictions. I'm going to keep it on the screen for just a second more. What do you think of it? Going to do it lastly in reverse order. So just to be crystal clear with my thoughts, to talk you through that, because I want you to get involved in the comments below, and I'll give my thoughts on what you say in the comments below, and I want to engage with you on that. I'd always get back to you, that's a promise. So I think Wolves 20th, I'm doing it the flip side. Brentford 19th, Leeds United 18th, Burnley 17th, West Ham 16th, Aston Villa 15th, Nottingham Forest 14th, Sunderland 13th, Brighton Hove Albion 12th, Bournemouth 11th, Crystal Palace 10th, Manchester United 9th, Fulham 8th, Tottenham 7th, Everton 6th, Manchester City 5th, Newcastle 4th, Chelsea 3rd, Arsenal 2nd, Liverpool 1st, Premier League champions. That is it on screen. I'm going to now stop sharing my screen. Get involved in the comments below. What you change in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching. We'll come back to this at the end of the season and I'll review it. But for now, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.